The American Red Cross was organized May 21st, 1881, by a school teacher named Clara Barton. The first woman to be a clerk at the U.S. Patent Office, Clara Barton moved to Washington, D.C. at the outbreak of the Civil War. On her own, she began to distribute relief supplies to wounded soldiers. And then, at the request of President Lincoln, she aided for nearly 4 years in searching for missing soldiers. After attempting to carry a wounded soldier off the battlefield, Clara Barton wrote, "A ball," which was shot out of a rifle, "a ball had passed between my body and the right arm which supported him, cutting through the sleeve and passing through his chest from shoulder to shoulder. There was no more to be done for him, and I left him to his rest. I have never mended that hole in my sleeve. I wonder if the soldier ever does mend a bullet hole in his coat." Well, Clara Barton was present at some of the bloodiest battlefields of the Civil War. The National Park Service recorded that Clara Barton first visited Chatham, or Lacey House, in early August 1862, bringing food and hospital supplies to help her boys. Clara Barton helped care for the wounded soldiers on both sides that were brought into the house. She set up a soup kitchen at the Lacey House, which became a makeshift hospital for the Union Second Corps. With doctors too busy to keep medical records, Clara wrote in her diary the names of the men who died and where they were buried. Her diary is at the Clara Barton National Historical Site in Maryland, and it became one of the key records to actually find out where these soldiers were buried. When a shell struck the door of the room where they were doing an operation, quote, "she did not flinch, but continued her duties," is what the assisting doctors said. The next 2 weeks at Chatham, Clara Barton saw hundreds of the most wounded men I have ever seen, occupying every room in the house. She wrote, "They covered every foot of the floors and the porticos, the stair landings. A man thought himself rich if he laid under a table where he would not be stepped on." A monument was erected in Washington, D.C. to the, quote, "nursing nuns of the battlefield." The inscription reads, "They comforted the dying, nursed the wounded, carried hope to the imprisoned, gave in his name a drink of water to the thirsty, to the memory and in honor of the various orders of sisters who gave their services as nurses on the battlefield and hospitals during the Civil War." After the Civil War, there were wars between France and Germany. Clara Barton decided to travel to Europe to help in that war on the battlefield. While she was over there, Clara Barton met Henry Dunant. He's the founder of the International Red Cross. Henri Dunant was the first recipient of the Nobel Peace Prize. He founded the Geneva chapter of the YMCA. Inspired by Henry Dunant's International Red Cross, Clara Barton established the American Red Cross Society, May 21st, 1881, serving as its head until 1904. Clara Barton stated, "An institution or reform movement that is not selfish must originate in the recognition of some evil that is adding to the sum of human sufferings or diminishes the sum of happiness. I may be compelled to face danger, but never fear it. And while our soldiers can stand and fight, I can stand and feed and nurse them. I am well and strong and young enough to go to the front. If I cannot be a soldier, I'll help soldiers." President William McKinley stated regarding Clara Barton in his second annual message, December 5th, 1898, "It is a pleasure for me to mention in terms of cordial appreciation the timely and useful work of the American Red Cross, both in relief measures preparatory to these campaigns, in sanitary assistance at several of camps of assemblage, and later under the able and experienced leadership of the President of the Society, Miss Clara Barton, on the fields of battle and in the hospitals at the front in Cuba." working in conjunction with governmental authorities and with the enthusiastic cooperation of many patriotic women and societies in the various states, the Red Cross has fully maintained its already high reputation for intense earnestness and ability to exercise the noble purposes of its international organization, thus justifying the confidence and support which it has received at the hands of the American people. To the members and officers of the Society and all who aided them in their philanthropic work, the sincere and lasting gratitude of the soldiers and the public is due and freely accorded. In tracing these events, we are constantly reminded of our obligations to the Divine Master for his watchful care over us and his safe guidance, for which the nation makes reverent acknowledgement and offers humble prayer for the continuance of his favor. God bless you. Thank you for watching.